Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my new video. I am declaring a war on my low elo subscribers. I want to get you out. I want to get you out of the fucking dregs of bronze and silver, and I think we can accomplish that if we work together. Now, I have a relatively small channel, so I think this is pretty feasible, and I think it'd be really cool and fun to track the progress of everyone and see if we can help each other get out of some hard stuck states. I'm sorry guys, I'm just really excited about this. My name's LowFit. I do an educational channel. I'm mostly tips, guides, and opposition reports, so I go over how to beat certain champions. This really ties into what I'm trying to do in my life. I really want to teach and coach, so I love doing this kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about this. And if I have any subscribers that are obviously elos higher than that, which I know a good amount of you are, if you see someone commenting in this video and you want to chime in and give them a couple tips as well, I encourage that. That's always awesome. I'm going to go over a few key points every single week. We're just going to maybe 5, maybe 10 every week, just seeing how much I'm gonna dig up every week to help you guys out. I'm gonna track the progress of anyone that wants to comment down below in the comments, and I'm going to just keep a track on seeing how many people we can get out of bronze and silver, and I'm gonna like fucking write it on a board or in a journal or something. That's gonna be awesome. And we'll see how many people we can get out of the lower elos together. I've also created a Twitter account and a fucking Discord account, and I hate that kind of shit. I'm not the biggest social media person outside of like YouTube. I don't really have like Facebook or anything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna have you guys can message me on any of those, so there's no excuse not being able to get out of these lower elos, as I believe that any player can reach Diamond 5, and a lot of players in Diamond 5 are pretty much they could be at the same skill level as bronze and silver players. They're just doing a lot of things that help them climb quite a bit. And yeah, let's just jump right into the tips. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and let's get right into it. Alright, and the first 5 tips that we're going to get into for this series is, number 1, easy to execute champs. These can really help you learn a lot about the game and not have to focus about a lot of micro management that you're going to have to do with the harder skilled champions. This is going to allow you to focus a lot more on things like vision control, lane management, focusing a bit more on like things like trades and maybe tracking the jungler even a little bit. So some easy to execute champions I can point out to you real quick would be things like Annie, things like Malphite, things like I'd even say Veigar. I think Veigar is a great tool for climbing. Things like Janna, things like Sona, things like I think Zyra and Brand are also decent for climbing and pretty easy to execute champions. I also created a tier list if you wanted to look back at that, where I go over a few champions that are doing pretty well in the meta right now and are easy to execute. With this rule, I know this might be a bit controversial because I know some people can climb with it, but you really need to stay away from things like Yasuo, stay away from things like Riven, stay away from things like Zed, stay away from things like Kai'Sa, stay away from things like Vayne. What else do we have there? Yeah, you get my meaning. Just the really mechanically intensive champions. Obviously, you can climb with these champions, but it's like when you're climbing a mountain, you're just strapping like 50 extra pounds on your back when you're trying to climb, when you're playing those kind of champions. So be cognizant of that, and let's get right into number 2. A great way to climb right now is to have a strong team fighting champion. Now, this is the easiest way to carry, in my opinion, as opposed to, hey, I'm going to be a great split pusher and I'm going to make sure that my team always knows, hey, don't fight when I'm split pushing. Or another way to be carrying would be just roaming a lot. This is the easiest way to carry because they happen naturally a lot in the fights, and you don't have to force it and do it, exert your will to create it yourself. So strong team fighting champions, for example, would be things like Annie, would be things like Veigar as well. Things with high impact ults that can really take people out of the game and just have them really suffer in the team fights. You can also be recommending people in in-game lobbies, being like, hey guys, let's do a really strong team fighting comp, because a lot of low elo games really come down to that. They don't come down to like one amazing split pusher that's doing really good macro management in the game. All right, and number 3, I've been recommending to a lot of my peoples in my comments whenever they ask for more tips on the thing, is condensing your champion pool. I'm a big proponent right now of probably doing 2 to 3 champions and then having 2 roles. So a good example of this would be things that carry over a lot of base experience from each other. Mid and top go really well together. ADC and support go pretty well together because you have experience in those type of 2v2 lanes. And then also mage support player and mid lane mage player. Those are really good roles that will really it will help you not have to worry too much about autofill if you have 2 roles that you can play effectively, especially if one of them is a support role. I have very little experience in the jungle. That's kind of my blind spot. That's the only role I don't really play too much. But you obviously can climb with jungle, but maybe just go ask someone else for tips on the jungle. I think I've only played jungle up to like a platinum 3 level, so I don't have the highest level of experience on that. Yeah, so before you get into your next game, before you get into your next champion select, I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to write out 3 champions that you can play in 2 different roles. So a total of six champions that you're gonna have on that piece of paper, and only play those champions for like a week and see your LP climb, because you're not gonna be just worried so much about this random fucking mechanics and smaller things that you don't need to worry about. You're gonna get a lot of in-game experience when you're not focusing on that micro shit. Next thing, this is pretty tough for low elo players usually, is focusing on CS. There is just so many different ways to win a game and win a lane, and CS definitely is one of them. As sometimes it might seem more flashy to be like, oh, I'm going to get a bunch of kills, I'm going to crush my lane opponent. They're not going to have much CS. Yeah, CS can be huge. Pick champions and that you feel comfortable CSing with, obviously, when you're going over your champion pool. Doran's shield is great in the top lane for increasing your CSing, because it gives you a bit more damage on creeps, and as well with Doran's ring. So CSing is a huge part, and you want to be generally aiming for around 8 CS a minute. Obviously, great players could do like 10. So just sometimes maybe go in the practice tool before you start a bunch of games. Just be like, hey, I'm going to go into practice tool. I'm going to do one of my favorite champions. I'm going to just practice on 5 different waves and see how many I can get. Next up, one of the most common things whenever I see an OPGG, when I do some reviews for some of my subscribers, is they have like 1 vision ward, 1 control ward placed in an entire game, and it was like 40 minutes. Please, I'm bad at this too, I admit it, but it's gonna help your game so much if you have like 3 or 4 vision wards placed over the course of the game. When they're taken down, always look for good places to place them, like tri bushes, and in the rivers, also a great spot, and then as well as controlling objectives like the Baron and Dragon. So always look to have a good vision score, even if you aren't the support. It's not the support's job to ward every single thing and sweep every single thing and have control wards. It's the whole team's job, and it's gonna definitely just make you able to do informed decisions when you're trying to do team fights and picks. It's just going to give you so much more information. It's going to be great for your gameplay. And number 5 I wanted to go over real quick. This might be a little bit different than the other ones, but this is the golden rule of wave management. Now, if the minion wave is past the river and there are 4 minions, then if you keep it at that certain spot and they're not getting hit by towers, then the wave will freeze. So if you're in a tough matchup and you just want to stay under your tower and not give up any kills, this is a great way to do it. Also, if you want to deny farm, this is a great way of denying farm and building a CS lead to keep 4 minions on your side of the map. You obviously don't want to have a huge excess of minions, because they're just going to destroy waves really quickly and push into you and make you either take minion damage or they're going to push into your tower. Now, that will wrap up the 5th tip I'm going to give. Comment down below for any kind of OPGG review, and if you want me to track your progress, I would love to do that kind of stuff. I'm gonna have like a list of people that I'm gonna be like, hey, this person has gotten from silver to gold or whatever. I'm gonna do a video on that kind of stuff. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and I'm gonna leave my Twitter link and Discord link in the description down below, so you guys feel free to message and comment me on any of those platforms, as well as just commenting on any of my YouTube videos. I will get back to you, and as always, guys, take it easy.